If you sit in any local cafe with exposed brick and decent Wi-Fi, you'll eventually overhear a conversation about parents. Usually, it's a group of 20-somethings scrolling through their phones, dismissing an upcoming birthday or Mother's Day. They laugh about the supposed drama of it all, concluding that it's simply a day on the calendar, and a quick text message will suffice. This is the baseline of the modern world. We operate on a surface level defined by absolute lack of friction. We expect same-day delivery, instant notifications, and hyper-fast connectivity. Everything arrives on demand. Communication used to carry high physical friction and distinct financial cost. Placing a long-distance call meant dealing with an operator, scheduling a time, and paying a premium. Effort was built directly into the infrastructure. A missed birthday meant writing a letter by hand, buying postage, and accepting that your apology would arrive 3 weeks late, perhaps with the ink smudged by rain along the journey. You felt the vulnerability of the delay. Somewhere along the line, emotional expression compressed into emojis, instant reactions, and read receipts. We conditioned ourselves to believe that high-speed efficiency could successfully replace the messy, time-consuming effort of genuine connection. The correct generation shows deep empathy in specific, intense bursts. They stay up all night supporting strangers through heartbreaks online, weep over independent films, and build complex emotional attachments to fictional characters. There is a distinct disconnect in how that empathy is directed. A young professional might point to their attendance at Diwali, or Christmas, or Eid as proof of their devotion. They focus on showing up for the major events, while the quiet work of daily emotional maintenance goes completely ignored. The environment trained them for this. School systems rewarded strict metric performance. Hustle culture prioritized pure productivity. Social media equated visibility with value. They learned to view every aspect of life as a series of checkboxes to be cleared. Because gratitude is rarely modeled or taught as a daily, deliberate practice anymore, a milestone like Mother's Day loses its weight. It stops being an opportunity for reflection and becomes just another obligation, squeezed frantically between work deadlines and the next hit of digital dopamine. Think of family dynamics through the mechanics of the ocean. Parents function as anchors. They provide the steady, massive weight required to keep the family ship from drifting too far into chaos while it navigates rough waters. To understand how this works, you have to look below the waterline. This is where the heavy lifting happens out of sight. Now return to the surface level. The younger generation rarely sees the seabed. What they feel is the tension on the chain, the constant questions, the reminders, the occasional guilt trips. They perceive the mechanics of the anchor purely as unnecessary friction. Most of them simply haven't lived long enough to recognize the shape of quiet sacrifice. Swimming exclusively in a sea of on-demand convenience leaves you completely unequipped to identify the kind of love that does its hardest work in the dark. Step away from the busy cafe and the frantic rush of the modern work week. Go into the quiet living rooms and the shrinking family homes, where a parent sits waiting for the calendar to turn. A mother looks down at her phone on Sunday morning. A message arrives from her child. It says, "Happy Mother's Day," accompanied by a digital sticker of a cartoon cat holding a red heart. She sits with the realization that this frictionless tap on a glass screen was the absolute maximum effort her child could muster. It is the weight of a decade's worth of care being acknowledged by a single automated pixel. Decades of exhausting physical sacrifice, the sleepless nights, the carried burdens, the years of quiet waiting, are being traded for an automated digital transaction. The transaction is efficient, but the exchange rate is devastating. Human affection cannot be optimized. It refuses to operate like a subscription service, where you pay a minimal fee of attention to keep the account active. Durable love behaves like a reef knot. It requires highly deliberate, intentional time to tie, and physical friction to actually hold its shape under pressure. If only one side of the rope is bearing the tension, while the other side goes completely slack out of convenience, the entire structure fails. True connection demands that you step out of the high-speed, hyper-efficient current of your daily routine. You have to willingly choose to engage in the heavy, time-consuming effort of another human being. There is a rhythm to this, an inevitable tide that pulls every family. It is an endless, repeating cycle of generations loving blindly, forgetting easily, and eventually remembering. The day will arrive when the youth in that cafe become parents themselves. They will pour their own energy into their children, sacrifice their own dreams, and eventually they will sit by a window holding a phone, receiving a digital sticker in return for their life's work. When that happens, they will finally understand the mothers who packed lunches into steel containers, who fixed broken things without announcing it, and who waited quietly for a visit instead of demanding gratitude. You have the opportunity to break this cycle of forgetting today. Stop optimizing your schedule. Look beneath the waterline, locate the anchors holding you steady, and offer them actual words. I see you. Thank you. The sea never once sent an emoji instead of a physical wave. Nature's most powerful forces require real, tangible effort. So close the app, pick up the phone, and make